Hello there guys, this is Otaku here, and we're going to be showing you how I play Sword Art Online Integral Factor on Nox, what settings I use for the Nox emulator, and what settings I use in the emulation itself and the game. So, we'll first start off with the settings for the emulator. So let's go to my gear. I use the latest version of Nox. I have my settings on high. You want to keep these performance settings as high as possible. You can get away with middle, but if you possible, try to put it on high. You can put your startup settings at tablet. This doesn't matter really. Tablet, custom, mobile. I keep it at 1080 by 1920 by 1080. You can put it at 1280 by 720 if you have a lower end computer. I put graphical rendering on compatible. If you have a slower computer, Speed DirectX might work better. I keep my frame settings at 60. Again, if you have a lower end computer, you might want to put this at like 30. And that's pretty much my settings for the Nox emulator itself. But inside the emulation, there's actually an extra setting that I like to put that actually helped me run SEO a little bit better. So if you go to your settings folder, if you go down, scroll down all the way down to about, if you click on the build number about 8 or 9 times, you will unlock developer options in the Android emulation. Then you scroll down all the way and you should enable forced GPU rendering. This enabled actually helped my game run so much more and crash so much less. So I 100% recommend it to use it. So after that, I close settings and I launch the game. Go to your setting types. You want to go to change these options around. Now, I keep it usually on high most of the time because I can run it at high perfectly fine. The only times I lower it down is when I'm in a bigger party of maybe 5 or 6 people, and sometimes it does crash a bit more often at a higher setting with that many people. But with a duo or even trio, I usually keep it on high just fine. Lower it down to medium with 4 people, lower it down to low with 5 or 6 people. So it depends on you. You can change this around. If you feel like you're crashing more, just lower the setting a little bit more. But I usually like to keep it on high. My motion quality is set to 40, and my shader quality is set to 70. These I found as my best qualities to have on this. But the most important part is the next thing. The ranges for your things. You want to set all 4 of these options down to nothing. If you want to at least see a few models, you maybe want to keep this at 10. I usually keep it at 10. I turned it off last night only because I was doing a couple duels with a friend and didn't want any kind of lag whatsoever or any kind of crashes whatsoever, as this game will still crash from time to time regardless of your settings, but it will be playable more often than before. So once you have those settings, you just click change, click OK, and then restart the game, and we'll go in and run around and see how it goes. There's one more thing I forgot to mention in the last step. Also, if you're having trouble on server English 01, try switching to English 02. That was another thing. With so many people on server 1, my game would constantly crash back and forth regardless if I was on emulator or not. But once I moved over to server 2, I was able to play this game just fine and everything worked out perfectly. The other thing I also like to do is I like to play this game with a controller. So yes, I actually play this game full on with a controller. You can go to the right side of the settings and there should be an option for controller settings. Now, these settings, you can keybind them to how you have. You can see how my key bindings look right there. I have my Xbox controller set like this. And then I have this is the most important part, I have me keyboard controls set like this. So if you can see that, you can see how I have like each little like all the skills, all the normal basic attack, the freaking sidestep, the switch. So this is one of the things that was probably the hardest thing for me to learn. But if you actually click and drag it, you can basically make like a swipe animation, and this will act as a swipe animation. So that's what I use to move around the cameras while I'm on the controller, and it really does move really nice and smooth. You might want to keep it to like a short swipe. You don't want to make it too long, too harsh. Try to make it nice, like a simple short straight line, and it usually works for the most part. Sometimes it does that, and you might have to rearrange yourself with the mouse a bit, but for the most part it should work. And let's yeah, that's how I play Sword Art Online Integral Factor. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure in my settings for Nox, is any of you guys want to play who are struggling to play on Nox, you guys are done rerouting, but you keep crashing, but you really want to play this game, and you're like me, who hasn't upgraded his phone in years, so he can't play it on his phone. So I hope you guys have a good day, and I will see you around another time. Bye!